I know. Ah, there we go. Okay, so welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you guys. Welcome to the welcome to the IEM Toronto American Qualifiers stage number 1. This is going to be a best of 1 for the round of 64. Don't forget, this is double elimination, and yes, indeed, there is that SC2 4-year anniversary party hat. So let's start over here at the top right side of merry-go-round. It is KiFirE. You can see, look at the pros, man. Look at it, they got Protoss hats too, the Protoss symbols. That's so awesome, man. Happy freaking birthday, StarCraft. Actually, you know what? Let's introduce first down here at the bottom 6 o'clock side of the map. We got our baller nerd of a Protoss himself. It is Sid3SaroVati. Definitely know him as well. CSL player, been around for quite a while. Really talented guy, good guy just in general. Picking up his play, picking up his results, and I think actually a lot of these college kids that now have the summer off can have a little bit of time to train and improve their game itself. Now let me just double check, make sure everything is working, and it looks like indeed it is. Guys, if you have any problems, if anything is lagging, if anything is, you know, glitching up, just let me know. Feel free to also tweet at me at CheeseheadLogic, and make sure if you guys do tweet today, be sure to use the hashtag IEM hashtag itself. Now, I guess with today being StarCraft's birthday in a sense, I do have to reminisce and give a lot of thanks, because I feel like this is kind of like the game that a little bit like changed my life. You know how you hear some of those stories about how players and casters and personalities, how like some of these games have absolutely changed their life. Indeed it did for me, because I was kind of sort of on that standard path, you know, getting ready like college student and whatnot. You know, I'm a big sports guy as well, so I didn't really know. I was, you know, just gonna get the degree and, you know, kind of go on with life and see where it would take me. But then, you know, I started watching, got introduced to StarCraft 2, picked the game up, began watching the GSL, watching, you know, all these top pro tournaments, and, you know, I just got inspired by them, and it's really cool to watch. You just kind of see how like my life is a little bit turned around because of this. You know, I've been traveling to so many events, seeing so many cool people, making a lot of great friends. You know, the experience that basically I've had from like streaming, broadcasting, and working with StarCraft 2 and esports has been one of those priceless experiences. Not exactly when you travel to like Anaheim, though that does cost a little bit, but other than that, you know, everything else, basically priceless experience, priceless moments. Been really appreciative of it. Alright, so Sid3SaroVati, he's going to be looking to open up with a little bit of a Stargate action. He already, of course, I think he should know, yeah, of course, he knows where his opponent is now. KiFirE going to be scouting out that Stargate. Meanwhile, on the other side, it looks like KiFirE is actually going to be opening up the same way now. In terms of positioning, KiFirE has a slight maybe advantage just due to its location. Sid3SaroVati, he's only a little bit ahead, it looks like, on production, just like a couple seconds ahead. He's adding already a second gate, but both players will basically have to be a tiny bit passive in terms of production. Now, the interesting thing right here is who's going to go for Phoenix, who's going to go for Oracle, because this typically does happen when both players scout out each other's Stargate. One player will go Oracle usually, and the other one will go Phoenix. It looks like actually both players will go Phoenix. Okay. Now, KiFirE is adding 2 additional gates. This means he plans to probably put a little bit of pressure on his opponent. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like Sid3SaroVati looking for more of a, I guess I want to say passive style. We'll see what he kind of comes up with. I don't know if he's going to expand or if he's going to drop a robo follow-up after this. So Phoenixes are underway. This is going to be interesting to see, because I think with KiFirE having those 3 gates, he should be planning to play a little bit aggressive. Now, we do have one Stalker coming in. We'll get lifted up. We'll get caught right now. Slowly getting poked away. Now, the one thing that's maybe going to scare Sid3SaroVati here a little bit, he doesn't spot any additional units aside of the Phoenixes. He might be wondering where the hell is everything else right now. Oops, KiFirE had a little bit of a mismicro, lifted his own probe. The probe's still got to be like, whoa, 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 man, I'm just doing my job right now. Let me have my own little party right now. Phoenix is still continuing in production right now for Sid3SaroVati. Sid3SaroVati just adding the 2 gates right now. The fact that he lost that Stalker does kind of hurt him a little bit, but you know, the one thing that's going to be a little bit of that saving grace is the fact that if both players sit defensive, it's not like one player could be very, very aggressive, come up, and then you know, expect to do a lot of damage. Photon Overcharge will be activated, and you know, should deflect the attack for the time being. For the time being, that's most important. For the time being. 5 Phoenixes out on the map right now for looks to be both players. So both players going a little bit heavier in Phoenix. So I'm actually kind of a little bit kind of having a little bit of a funny moment where I'm surprised actually one player didn't decide to add a second Stargate. It's one of those things that you could actually pull off, drop the second Stargate, double produce Phoenixes, and see what happens there. Now SaroVati going to be taking the lead in terms of economics and tech path. He's going to be dropping that second expansion at the natural, warping into Sentry and Zell for now for the time being. Now this is all going to really come down to positioning for the time being for both players. It looks like, there we go, KiFirE is going to take his expansion as well. It's really going to come down to positioning and who's going to be in position, who's going to be out of position. Because if, say, the Mothership Core is out and open like this, the Phoenixes fly by, they miss each other. Mothership Core will go down, the Phoenixes will come back home. We'll have to see, though, if we get a little bit of a surround, though, who's going to get the first shot off. One Phoenix actually does go down right now for KiFirE. He's going to have to chase SaroVati maybe down. No, he decides to go against that plan. Man, a couple of those Phoenixes barely outlasting, so the Phoenix count is going to be continuing, though, for a best of one. This is really fun to watch. I mean, Phoenix versus Phoenix is almost like watching Speedling versus Speedling. It's very fast-paced. It's very micro-intensive, so we'll see who, kind of comes out on top of that. And there we go. KiFirE is dropping that second Stargate right now, so if they are going to continue playing Phoenix versus Phoenix, this air type of style, you definitely might want to add that second Stargate like he is, so... And I'm looking in chat right now. Are you a Diamond Terran? She said Logic. Currently, yes. Currently, yes. back in the day, High Masters. So High Masters, and had even a very small stint in GM as well. So yeah, by the end of 2012, I kind of decided that probably is a good time to come to an end for my player career. Tried it for a little bit. It was fun, but just. The few months of dedication, wasn't enough exactly to boost me to be like the top Korean pro player. So after MLG Dallas, I more focused on the broadcasting end and started doing kind of opening up a little bit more to other games as well. So the trend, though, does continue right now. SaroVati continuing to make Phoenixes as well. Now he is continuing off of one Stargate, but he has already plans to add that fleet beacon right now, as we see in the production tab. So that +2 range could become a factor here if the numbers game stays fairly even. But with KiFirE adding Phoenixes pretty quickly right now, if KiFirE can just outproduce and go for an aggression of some sort, he can fight through this. Photon Overcharge can again only do so much damage, so if he swarms them really quick, we could be seeing maybe something happen here. Now take a look at the worker count again. Not really much action. We saw SaroVati fly in, snipe off a worker. Now he's got it on rally. One of those things you're gonna watch and you're just gonna get nauseated by. Second Stargate underway. Now, like I said, I mean, KiFirE does have to take advantage. If he does have a little bit of a numbers gain, in which he does for the current time being 14, he's got to take it. But right now he's sitting back himself, dropping that fleet beacon. Forge underway. He is going to need to get his +2 up there as well. Now, my thing I'm watching right now, SaroVati, is he going to go, as soon as that +2 hits, is he going to go for the attack, or is he going to sit back? Also, the thing you got to notice, when you have this many Phoenixes, you might be wondering, what's the best way to counter them? Like, is it going to be just more Phoenixes, or do you want to get carriers, void rays? No, actually, drop that Templar Archive. Do not be shy to drop the Templar Archive. It does take a little bit of time to actually produce and get actually the units out, but feedbacks are very strong, and once all of these Phoenixes have this much energy, you press in with a little bit of a force, so you have Templars. Those feedbacks will wipe almost every single Phoenix off the face of this map, so it's one of those things to consider, and there we go. We see it. There's the Templar Archive coming out right now from SaroVati, reacting really well. The funny thing I'm trying to think right now, was it Theory? It might have been Theory versus SaroVati. I actually broadcasted earlier in the year SaroVati, I feel like in a PvP, where it was Phoenixes versus Phoenix, or it might have been Theory, Phoenix versus Phoenix, and sort of like almost the same thing here is happening again. It's really funny. Now KiFirE, he does have 19 versus 18, so again, the numbers are pretty even. SaroVati, though, he's up on a little bit of a worker count. The longer this goes, I feel better for SaroVati right now. Here comes KiFirE, gonna get a little bit of harassment done, picking off a couple workers, bringing that worker count a little bit even. Both players do have that +2 range. Let's chase after them, and KiFirE actually just trying to get out of there right now. I feel like SaroVati got the better end of that trade right there. He did indeed, so 18 to 15 Phoenix lead. Temple Archives is finished up. Gates are getting added for SaroVati, getting his +1 attack. Meanwhile, +1 air upgrades actually coming out for weapons right now for KiFirE. Check that out. He's also adding a 3rd Stargate. This is very interesting and very risky all at the same time. But both players adding a 3rd base, so they are trying to take a look at some of the later stages in the game. As we continue to try to spot out what's going on right now. 3rd base coming up, photon cannons. Like, photon cannons are realistically only gonna do so much. You're basically hoping that you're trying to defend against Zealots at that point with those cannons, because that amount of Phoenixes come through, they're gonna be flying over. They'll wipe out a base before you even have a chance to maybe take out 1 or 2 of them anyways. +2 air upgrades right now going out for our Protoss player KiFirE. We got Charge and Archons actually building up right now for SaroVati, and you know what you can't lift? You can't lift Archons, so Templars and Archons, not a bad combination to have. And like I said, right now I would love to see more Templars coming out from SaroVati. This would be the proper reaction, this would be the proper composition, because they alone, if they just gather enough energy on them, they will be able to take out a good fleet of the Phoenixes out of the way already. Now again, Archons can help out with that as well. They can buffer, and especially if anything comes around them bunched up, they're going to be able to zap a whole group of them down anyways. So SaroVati's starting to press across the middle of the map, looking to maybe headhunt that 3rd base at the north side of this merry-go-round. Zealot, meanwhile, for KiFirE, just scouting out over here at the bottom side, but looks like he might have just passed his opponent, unfortunately. KiFirE, meanwhile, still continuing to produce Phoenixes, and Phoenixes basically only, and he's going to be taken, I feel like, a little bit by shock when he comes over back here to maybe help defend himself. And here comes the Phoenix block. It's huge, but remember, Archons, if he just micros back behind the Archons, yeah, and you can see KiFirE, he wants none of that. He spotted the Archons, he doesn't want any part of that. And also a thing to consider right now, if you are SaroVati, I mean, you're already doing wonderful for taking out the 3rd base. You've really, you know, just generally put your opponent already in a very hard position because he's only got Phoenixes. Like I said, consider warping in some of those Templars, feedback, like you know, warp in 4, 6, maybe even 8 Templars. Even if you don't have a lot of energy on them, just drop the feedbacks. Drop 8 feedbacks, drop 6 feedbacks, whatever. Form Archons right after. You know, just quickly read react. You know, have quick micro. Quick APM. It'll be worthwhile. Now we do see carriers in a way. Now this could be fun. He's got the carriers and of course the launch upgrade, the Graviton Catapult coming up. So maybe KiFirE, if he does somehow get a chance to get some carriers out on the map, he might give him actually a chance. He's already got a pretty dominant Phoenix count, as you can see, 29 to 25. He's starting to take out all the workers, and this is what we're talking about, how the photon cannons aren't really that helpful. But here comes the Phoenixes. They're going to start snapping away. Photon overcharge doesn't get activated, loses the mothership core. Here comes all of those Phoenixes lifting away at the units, and basically all the ground army that is gone. Stalker's not exactly the right unit to warp in at that point in time. But KiFirE starting to trade pretty well, starting to knock everything back. Remember, he does have the plus air upgrades as well. The first carriers do come out, and really going to be important right now for SaroVati to prepare for this, or at least let the Archons get under them. And if you can actually just maybe even get the Phoenixes to focus fire them, that's already good enough. So he does attempt to focus fire, but here comes the Archons. They're a good buffer. Remember, you can't lift the Phoenixes. I mean, you can't lift the Archons. So KiFirE in a little bit of a rough position right now, trying to produce some of those interceptors. But looks like it might be game for SaroVati. Checkmate. I mean, like I was about to say, like I don't know, I don't have really too many additional comments at that point.